what happened to your Steelers last night?
Oh damn! Oh damn! You know, and see, this is what happens when you got boys, man. You know, Keyshawn's been my boy for years. JWill's been my boy, and see, this is you let people inside and you let them know, and then they use this moment, this opportunity. You know, my show debuts today, and the first question they're gonna throw at me is about the Steelers and how they wet the bed. Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, oh damn! I mean, it was bad. It was no question about it. I mean, for them to be down 28-0 in the first quarter was absolutely disgusting and depressing. And knowing that you know Juju Smith-Schuster opened his mouth, you know, prematurely, showing his youth, his immaturity. Good guy, good player, but damn, you just don't do what he did because again, to me, when you open your mouth like that, you need to be a boxer, a UFC fighter, a golfer, a tennis player, etc. When you play for a team, you can only speak for yourself. You can't vouch for everybody around you. Something could end up going wrong, and in Juju Smith-Schuster's case, Big Ben Roethlisberger was what went wrong, at least early on, and that was really the difference in this game. It's unfortunate, but again, we saw it because the Steelers lost 5 of their last 6 games and 4 of their last 5 in the regular season. The handwriting was on the wall, and, you know, chickens came home to roost.
So let me ask you this, Stephen A. Big Ben is going to account for a little bit over $41 million in cap space in 2021-2022 season. What do you do? Do you bring him back or you move on from him?
I think you have to move on from him, believe it or not. And I know he's a Hall of Famer, and you know, yesterday doesn't take away, last night doesn't take away from everything that he's accomplished in his career. But last night was typical in terms of why we've never mentioned him in the same breath as the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, etc. As great as he has been, it's like second-tier status, or if everybody else is 1, he's 1A, you know, just that kind of thing. And I think that when you consider the cap number that he's going to count against them, along with the immobility that he now has, it wasn't ever that he was fast key, as you well know. It was really that he was Big Ben. He could shrug off tacklers and extend plays and stuff like that. He doesn't have that ability to the same degree that he used to because age, attrition, father time has all kicked in. So I think in light of that, along with the number, along with what we're seeing in terms of whether it's a Patrick Mahomes, it's an Aaron Rodgers who can still run with the football, it's a Deshaun Watson and his versatility, it's Lamar Jackson and his electrifying ability to run with the football, et cetera, et cetera. You're seeing an age where you almost need to be mobile in order to be. I understand Drew Brees is still there, Tom Brady is still there, but those are guys that are experienced, savvy, and been around forever and aren't accustomed to making those same levels of mistakes. I think if you're mistake prone, you have to have the ability to make it up with more than just your arm, and that is not Big Ben Roethlisberger anymore.
Stephen A. Smith, commentator, First Take, host of the Stephen A's World, premiere today exclusively on ESPN Plus, is joining us here on the morning show with Keyshawn, JWill, and Zubin. Let me ask you this, Stephen A. You mentioned Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
What should the narrative be now that he's won his first playoff game, as people have sat around and was waiting for him to lose to pounce all over him?
Well, now what you do is you just play, you know, the narrative is that, you know, he goes out there and he plays football. Now it's about him and the Ravens as opposed to it being just about him. Even though that Ravens defense did their thing yesterday, they were absolutely sensational in neutralizing Derrick Henry and making Ryan Tannehill do something he couldn't do, which he ended up not being able to do. The reality is that Lamar Jackson, although he didn't go out there and throw for 300-plus yards or whatever, those wheels that he has is something special, and we know that he's an elite dual threat. And because of that, you're able to look at him and you look at the Ravens now. It was really about him yesterday. If they had lost this game, no matter what the reasons would have been, it would have been on Lamar Jackson because he's the face of the franchise, the quarterback, the reigning league MVP who couldn't win a playoff game. Now that he's gotten that monkey off of his back, now it's about just going out there and playing football. And the Ravens just going out and playing football. And collectively, we're able to look at them and say, hey, okay, they either win or they lose. And we can dissect more of the game as opposed to locking in and zeroing in on him. He's been relieved of that kind of stress after yesterday's victory.
S.A., I know you love the MIA. I know you love South Beach. Both you and I were disappointed that we couldn't be there last year.
Tell me about
the
it.
Eastern Conference Finals. How do you see this Deshaun Watson issue playing out in Houston? Does he end up down in Miami, or where do you see him going?
In a perfect world, I would love for him to end up down in Miami. I haven't been fond of the Texans organization since they kept getting rid of one executive or one coach after another while keeping Bill O'Brien, when it was clear years earlier that Bill O'Brien needed to go because of some of the moves that he was making as a GM. And then when he let go of DeAndre Hopkins and traded him to Arizona, that was the last straw to me, because it wasn't just the chemistry that him and Deshaun Watson had with one another as quarterback to receiver. Remember, they both came from Clemson. They're both alumni members from there. They're both starred at the university. They were great, great friends. And you just don't disrupt that under any circumstances if you value Deshaun Watson as your quarterback. The fact that that was allowed to happen, I don't just put that on Bill O'Brien. I put that on the entire organization. And then for Deshaun Watson to give recommendations, for those recommendations to be ignored, for the ownership to, retain a company, to search for a GM and then still go out and go against their recommendation to hire Caserio from New England. Those are all problematic things. And so if you're Deshaun Watson, you're looking at this franchise, you see the direction that they're going in, and they basically had, it appears to be, particularly since they paid him, that they had this shut up and dribble mentality when it comes to Deshaun Watson. We're paying you this money to play football. Go out there and play and leave the decision making to us. Well, that's not something that's going to vibe with him. I don't blame him. And then when we see what an African American like Chris Gray is doing as a general manager in Miami, when we combine that with the job that Brian Flores as an African American is doing as the head coach, they're clearly forward thinking. They're moving in a forward direction. We know Stephen Ross in terms of his history and his contributions to the African American community and some African American causes as well. Deshaun Watson clearly is not just about football. He's about something more than that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.